NaNoWriMo is National Novel Writing Month. It's the month of November every year, so it's coming up next month, and so I'm using this month as a preparation month to develop all the sections of my novel. And then for the month of November, the goal with NaNoWriMo is to write 50,000 words in 30 days. And they have different sponsors and things, so if you do complete it, you get all these different bonuses and perks, and they have connections with Amazon Publishing and different things. So it's a lot of fun. There's local groups that get together, writers groups that you can work with, and they have so many resources. There's forums and blogs and all kinds of things to support you and teach you how to write. So yesterday I wrote my premise sentence, and you should still be able to see the replay of that where I explained what the premise of my novel is. It is basically my story growing up as a kid and what me and my parents went through when we were homeless on the streets. And so today I'm working on the character development for my main characters. I have 3 main characters in my novel. It's going to be myself, my 8-year-old self, my mother, and my father. And so I wrote a paragraph for each of the characters, and I will read it to you, and you guys can let me know what you think. And then each day we'll add a little bit more. Hi, welcome. So for the main character is going to be 8-year-old me. So I'll go ahead and read this to you. It says, Nicole is a sweet, timid 8-year-old girl. She has moved a lot with her parents, but has mostly lived with her mom. Most of her time with her dad has been weekend visits or visiting him while he was in jail. She has gone to 5 schools in 4 years and is shy when it comes to meeting new people. Her maternal grandparents recently died in a car accident, and her parents moved from Utah to California to be near her paternal grandparents. She loves visiting her grandparents and cousins, but knows that she has to keep a lot of secrets about her parents and their lifestyle. Nicole is an only child and has an active imagination and loves animals, and her favorite hobby is to rollerblade. So that's not an actual paragraph of the book, that's just explaining a little bit about the main character, 8-year-old me. The other main character would be my mom. Her name is Madge. And so it says, Madge has mostly been a single mother and just recently reunited with her husband when they decided to start over in California after her parents died. She has been addicted to alcohol and cocaine since she was a teen, but recently started smoking heroin. She is dependent on her husband to supply drugs for her, and she is living far away from her own family for the first time while grieving the loss of her parents. Her greatest love is her daughter Nicole, and she battles against her addiction to try to take care of her daughter as best she can. So that's my mom. And then the final main character is my dad, Andy, and his character paragraph is, Andy has battled depression since he was a youth and always struggled to conform to others' expectations of him. This led him into a life of drugs and crime at an early age. In his early 20s, he was a prominent drug dealer until his addiction to drugs surpassed his ability to sell them. He found heroin as a way to dull his depression and his shame over all his mistakes. He fights to hold his family together despite the devastation that drugs are having over him and his wife. He is a gifted mechanic and figures out a way to keep their truck running to give them shelter on the streets. He then figures out ways to bring in money to keep them surviving one day at a time. So those are my 3 main characters for my novel, and my novel is based on the story of parts of my childhood, living with while my parents were addicted to drugs and we were living on the streets. And I'd love to hear any feedback that you guys have about that, something that you would like for me to include in it, or maybe something that doesn't seem too relevant. Each day I'm going to expand a little more and write a little more and share more and more of the story and what I'm going to do with it. But I really want to hear back from you guys. I want to know what you think. My whole goal is to inspire people, to encourage people that you can overcome obstacles, that no matter what you've gone through in your past, you can do great things. And one of the viewers, Kathy B, is a great friend of mine, and she actually wrote a musical at one time when I was a kid that was very similar to my life story. So I'm very excited about writing this. And Dave, what are some of the books that have inspired you? So many books. I mean, there's self-help books. You can see I have a bookshelf of books behind me. So many self-help books. whether it's business ones, Think and Grow Rich and that kind of thing. But then there's also some of the books that I've used for my inspiration about writing my story. And I've kind of been leaning towards the young, child fiction of like the Anne of Green Gables books, the Little House on the Prairie books, the stories where a young girl is telling her story. I'm gleaning a lot of inspiration from those kind of books just to see how they share the main character's point of view and how they tell the story and bring the whole environment to life. So it's a variety of self-help books that have helped me grow as a person and figuring out what I want to write, but then a lot of the fiction books meant for young readers that have inspired me in how to write the story and how I want to portray my characters. So it's been a combination of those things. Does anyone else have any questions or comments? And I appreciate all the hearts that everyone's been giving me. Thank you. Anything else before we end the broadcast? All right, well, I want to thank you guys for watching. Thank you for supporting me. And if there's anything that you guys want to contribute, you can comment on my Facebook, on my Twitter. Oh, Dave, so you're aspiring to be a young adult fiction author. Yeah, I've found that I think that's going to be my target audience, even though, it can be for adults as well. I want to inspire people while they're young of what they can accomplish, because I was going through a lot of hard things when I was young, and it was books like that that really gave me the imagination to believe that I could have more in my life. So yeah, I want it to be for young adults, but I also plan on writing other books, some books, where other people that share their stories of overcoming struggle and things like that. So this is just the first book that I'm working on. I have so many ideas for others, and I plan for it to be a whole series of how we overcame various different obstacles throughout our life. Thank you so much. All right. Is there anything else anyone wants to ask or share? I'm loving all this. Important to know your genre. Good place to start. Thank you so much, Dave. Yeah, it took me a while to figure out what genre who I was writing for. I was trying to decide if I wanted to write it, as an autobiography, or if I wanted to write it kind of as a novel. And I found from the books that I've read and what I enjoy, I want it to be kind of a young adult novel, but still being based on my story of what we went through and what we overcame. And then, of course, I want to have the opportunity to speak to groups, any chance to inspire, to encourage others, because life can be really hard. There's a lot that we go through, but we can overcome it, and we can, if we allow it to help us to grow and help us to inspire others, then it's not in vain. Thank you so much, Dave. Thank you. I appreciate your feedback. All right. I'm so excited that you guys are here with me sharing in this. I'm excited and nervous, because it's a very personal story. But I've found that it's about time that I share it and that I help other people to believe that they can overcome things as well. So, recently shifted from nonfiction novels. Oh, excellent. Yeah, it's an easier read too for the readers. It's more enjoyable going along through the story rather than just information. So I'm excited about doing it as a novel, and I think that's cool that you're doing that as well. And I kind of see that, I think more and more authors that are, nonfiction authors, I can see them starting to write it in a, fiction sort of way, because find the readers enjoy it. So thank you so much. Thank you for the hearts. Thank you for taking your time to hang out with me and talk to me about my book. And I look forward to hearing from you. So like I was saying, on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram, pretty much anywhere you find me, just my handle is at Nicole Ann Karp, Nicole with an H and with an E, and Karp, short for carpenter. And it's the same across all my social media. So whichever one you prefer, just contact me there, like me, follow me, because I want to keep in touch. All right, see you next time. Thank you so much, Dave. Thank you all. You all have a good evening.